whether you're new in practice or whether you've been in practice for a while, we're going to talk about setting fee schedules. Setting charges for your practice is really important. Understanding charges fee schedule versus your allowable fee schedule versus a self-pay fee schedule, all very, very important. Picking the right number for your fee schedule is important, and making sure it's not too low, it's not too high, kind of like Goldilocks, right in the middle is the right way to go. Welcome to RevMD, the podcast all about medical billing. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Signorelli. Join us as we break down the ins and outs of medical billing, discuss the latest trends, and also share insights to help you and your practice navigate the world of healthcare finances. All right, welcome back to another week of the RevMD podcast. I'm a pathologist and physician by background, and I am the co-owner with my husband of National Revenue Consulting, which is a full-service medical billing and coding company. So if you're looking for a new billing team or coding on it, don't hesitate to reach out. We've got a number of different practices and subspecialties that we bill for. You can head on to our website at nationalrevenueconsulting.com or check out our podcast or testimonials, which can all be seen on our website, or email us at info@nationalrevenueconsulting.com. So excited to talk to you guys this week about fee schedules, all about fee schedules. And so whether you're new in practice or whether you've been in practice for a while, we're going to talk about setting fee schedules, what kind of fee schedules, and how you think about, setting those rates. So it's important to recognize that the charges, right? So let's talk about charges and setting up a charges fee schedule. So the charges are the amount of dollars that are sent out to an insurance company. So that's your charge fee schedule. And your allowable fee schedule is the fee schedule that the insurance companies say, I am going to pay you for those services. So charges is kind of like funny money, right? And charges are that fictitious amount of money that you charge out and you hope and pray you'll get paid. And you can also have self-pay fee schedules, right? Which are cash pay fee schedules, which you said, which typically are a percentage of Medicare or percentage of what your charges that you are given to an insurance company. And you want to make sure you have those written down. You want to have a self-pay fee schedule so that if you do have patients that you're doing a self-pay procedure on, you're giving those estimate of charges, you're having them sign a financial, liability form, making sure that they recognize like you are self-pay, this is not insurance, and this is what you're expected to pay. Super important to have that. So we often get asked, like, how do I set my charge fee schedule? Again, that's that funny money number that you're going to charge out to insurance companies. And it's important to recognize that patients also see that number. They also see that fictitious number on their EOBs or the paperwork that comes back from the insurance company. And sometimes those rates can upset patients, right? They see that you're charging $1,000, even though you may only get paid $100. I would never recommend that far of a differential of your charges. But say I'm making that example up. So if say you are charging $1,000 and you get paid $100, patients see that $1,000 and they're going, gosh, are you really paying or getting paid that $1,000? And so they think, like there's something wrong with healthcare and they complain and this whole thing. So really making sure that you set your charges appropriately is important from that like visibility perspective, or, because your patients are going to see it. Now, setting your fee schedule too low can hurt you in that if you set your fee schedule just to the Medicare rates, but your commercial payers pay more, the payers are only going to pay you the minimum of what you charge, right? So if you charge $100, but the commercial payers would have paid you $150, they're just going to pay you $100. Now, one of the key things you can look at is you can take a glance at your EOB, and if they're paying you the exact amount of the charges that you submit, that means your fee schedule is set too low. And if there's no contractual adjustment line on there, that means your fee schedule is set too low. Typically, we recommend, setting your fee schedule 200 to 300% of Medicare. And that can be a good mid-range value so that your accounts receivable doesn't look too inflated, right? So if your fee schedule is too high, so 400% of Medicare, means you're just going to be writing off a whole bunch. So your insurance AR, your accounts receivable looks really, really high when in reality, you're never going to get paid that. Those are kind of the two, set your fee schedule too low or set your fee schedule too high. Next is really understanding impact of your charges. So again, you've set it up too high. That's where your AR is going to be inflated. And so you really want to make sure that, you're not setting it too high. And the other thing is you're going to want to make sure that all of your CPTs have a rate before they get out, right? So if you're new in practice, you're setting up your fee schedule, just make sure that you're not submitting any $0 charges when it needs to be set at your fee schedule. And so those first few weeks of a new software can be a little bumpy like that. The billing team typically, at least our billing team, will be reviewing those charges and making sure we don't have any $0 charges that are going out. Let's talk about the allowable fee schedule. Let's talk about credentialing. So when you credential, right, and you contract with a payer, they're going to give you a fee schedule. That's your allowable fee schedule. That's the amount that they're going to say, I'm going to pay you. It's important to have all of that organized so that you have that for each of your different plans, so that when you're setting up your software, you're putting those into the software, you're putting your allowable into the software, and making sure that you can run reports on that. You can double check you're getting paid what you should get paid. So really important to have all of those allowables put into your software. That's just a process that you and your billing team work together on. So they may not be doing your credentialing. And so you'll want to work together to make sure that there's some checks and balances, that you are getting paid what you say you're getting paid. And that can be as simple as taking a look once a month, for a different payer. So like maybe you do Aetna one month and Blue Cross the next month, but checking at least annually to make sure that you're getting what you should be getting paid. I know some of our billing teams will just make phone calls and they'll double check, they'll spot check like, hey, for our bigger claims, are we getting paid what our fee schedule says? And you can also look in Availity. Availity is another place you can look for fee schedules. Sometimes it doesn't have all the payer plans. So you just want to make sure that you get the information that you can. If you are questioning that, always can call your insurance company and double check that. So again, setting charges for your practice is really important. Understanding charges fee schedule versus your allowable fee schedule versus a self-pay fee schedule, all very, very important. Picking the right number for your fee schedule is important, and making sure it's not too low, it's not too high, kind of like Goldilocks, right in the middle is the right way to go. So hopefully this helps. And again, if you haven't renegotiated your contracts in a while, please get out there, renegotiate those contracts, make sure that you're not missing an opportunity, because they will continue to lower your rates. So do not let time go by without renegotiating your contracts. And last, we have a course that is coming out mid-January. It is going to be an 8-week billing course to go over all the ins and outs to make sure that your team is doing what it needs in order to get the revenue you deserve. This is going to be a culmination of policies and procedures and checklists that you can hand over to your team. This is for your office manager, your new front office staff. This is for anybody who really touches any part of your billing process. This is going to be really revolutionary. It's going to allow you to improve your process, save you time in creating policies and procedures. So if you are interested, head over to National Revenue Consulting and click on Billing Education, and you can head on over to sign up for the waitlist. All right, we're excited to see you in January. And as always, any questions or concerns, head over to National Revenue Consulting or shoot us an email. Have a great rest of your weekend.